celebrating one of my family members becoming a mother for the very first time. So, this is going to be a beautiful afternoon, and yeah, I'm excited. Right, so see you there.
It's going to be like additional beverages that you can add on to your experience. Most of them so this is going to be a very subtle black tea but with hints of passion fruit in it. Some tropical flavors in there. Barley. Very
Thank you to the Precious Pearls of Faith Ministry for inviting me to speak today as one of your special guests. I'm a little nervous. To the ministry board and congregation, greetings and thank you for your presence. As a very shy, introverted child, I could never imagine myself speaking in front of an audience such as this. But when purpose has been placed upon you, life has a way of surprising you in the best way. So it's been a long, long journey to arrive here, but I am here. For the last 12 months of my life has been an unexpected, unintentional, unprepared circumstance that evolved out of thin air. I grew up in a church such as this. I sang in the children's choir, I was baptized at a very young age, and I attended Sunday school as an adolescent. As life moved forward, you really begin to experience what life is really about. The challenges, the beginnings of some things, and the ending of most things. As my life shifted, it pivoted me to returning me to share my life's altering journey with you, which is a full circle moment. My pivot starts not that long ago, on a Thursday afternoon, just like any other day, but that particular Thursday changed the rest of my life. On August 31st, 2023, I received a call from my medical oncologist with the results of my breast x-rays. About 2 months prior, I felt a hardening in my left breast. At first, I wanted to pretend that it was nothing, and I really wanted to ignore it. Trying to convince myself that it was nothing major, but my mind kept being persistent and not letting it go. It felt so different. To my core, I knew something was wrong, so I decided to get it examined. I was just beginning to find my footing in life, so I refused to imagine this being something serious, because just like many of us, I had so much to do. But there were other plans in motion. As the phone rang, the medical hospital name appeared across my screen. I was attending a work Zoom meeting at the time, so I turned my camera off and muted myself to take the call. The doctor on the phone identified me and simply but gently told me they found cancer in my left breast. Everything went quiet. It felt like my life went into slow motion. I went into shock and disbelief. I can feel my body temperature rising, my emotions were shifting, and the realization of what the doctor had uttered had become my reality. As you can imagine, my mind was racing. I felt like I was about to panic and my body wanted to collapse in disbelief. My thoughts were running through my mind of what could I have done wrong to deserve this. I felt betrayed. I felt alone. I needed to call someone that could embrace this heavy burden of mine. I was blessed and still able to call my mother. I remember calling her and shaking at the same time, not knowing if she was going to be able to withstand her youngest daughter informing her of some devastating news that you could not run away from. She picked up and I went to open my mouth and nothing came out but sobs of tears. I could not speak, I could not utter the words. I just was overwhelmed by emotion, the tears streaming down my face fast and warm. But she said, everything is gonna be okay. She didn't need to know the details of why or what was happening, but knew she needed to make her way to me quickly. She arrived there shortly thereafter, and I fell into her arms and let out the deepest cry I've ever experienced. After some time, I was able to tell her of my recent diagnosis. I had cancer. She stood strong. She jumped into prayer for me. She held me and told me I was going to be okay, even though my belief was wavering. For the next few months, I faced a whirlwind of medical appointments, one after another, to hearing medical terms that I've never had to concern myself with. It was overwhelming. My life was no longer mine. Treatments began. Facing that was frightening. It was difficult. It was shattering. It was even dark. In that preparation, I had to cut my hair, so though it was falling away from my scalp as I started chemo. My vision, my sense of taste, my communication, my ability to stand, to walk for long periods of time, all became challenging and faded from the strength I had prior. The identity of who I thought I was, who I thought I had became, was seeping away from me. The more I tried to hold on to the old thing, it was fiercely fulfilling its purpose in transitioning. A new definition of me was emerging, and I had to let go of the old version of myself. This was my battlefield. Everything felt so out of control. I had to search deep within myself to surrender. I could not fight against the wave. I struggled for years in the act of surrendering, letting go of control or trying to prevent myself from experiencing something I didn't want to. But God, in his divine knowing that even in a turmoil journey or experience, there is this birthing of blessings and a clarity that will be revealed. So I accepted that at the time. And in that moment, I had to let go and fall into trusting the unknown. I realized that I wasn't the only one going through this, but my family, my very close friends, felt and experienced the same turmoil I was going on along with me. My courageous young gifted daughter, Kai, witnessed it all as well, endured it all with me, the tears, the sickness, but she still was able to pour glimpses of hope in me consistently. She never gave up. She would hold my hand at times. That's all I could give her in my pockets of energy. She would whisper to me after a day of chemo and tell me, "You got this, Mom. You'll get through it." And I believed her. My medical team was ultimately a godsend. I didn't know how they were going to treat me or how they were going to receive me, but it seemed every doctor, every nurse, to my cancer therapists, medical administrators, to my surgeons that were all appointed to me at every turn, greeted me with open arms and decided they were going to go into battle with me. I wasn't alone. I told myself that I needed to take each day as it comes, one day at a time, though some days were painful and full of fear. I couldn't allow myself to think too much into the future, for it felt so uncertain. But I could find strength for the day. I could connect to my strong will to fight through the darkness. I also realized that forgiveness was a part of my healing. Forgiving anything from my past or from the past that caused me pain, anger, and hurt. I had to make amends and let go, to release it. To also forgive myself for not allowing grace to soothe my imperfections. I had to face that pain full on and confront it. After keeping my diagnosis known to a small group of family and some friends, I had the notion, a small voice, telling me to keep sharing, that my story needed to be told from my unique perspective. I suddenly found myself in an immense support of love from family and friends. People that knew me from high school to college were reaching out. It was such an overwhelming dose of love in real time. It was that consistent support of love, care, check-ins, prayers, meals that led me to my daily healing, my strength to pull me through. As I look back on my life-altering journey, I stand in front of you, a person that endured 12 rounds of chemotherapy, a double mastectomy surgery, a lymph node removal surgery, 25 rounds of radiation, and continued physical therapy to this day. So there was no amount of preparation for what I had to face, but I knew I could not get stuck on why me, but to lean into God's divine love, to trust, to surrender, even in fear. I began to see that my diagnosis was more than what it seemed on the surface level. It was ordered. It was a blessing to launch me, to see myself different, to be chosen as the unlikely one. As I reflect on this journey, I stand before you full of gratitude, being here on the other side of my breast cancer diagnosis, cancer-free. And that has been since July 15th of 2024. That serves as a testament to God's grace and strength. My story is a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is hope and light. A huge community surrounded me. My family, my friends, people that I met along this journey poured into me more than I could ever expect. With that, my heart is full. I live to tell the story. Thank you.